Everybody, welcome back to the Practical Worship Leader, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Melonare MWM-41F wireless microphone system. All right, so I got this Melonare system in, and they sent it to me to do. I'd done a review for them a while back of their Dual system, and I think it was a great system. For the money, it was really, really nice. Now, this one is their Quad, what they call it. See, their quad channel wireless mic system has 4 microphones with it, with one rack mount system. Of course, it has your on button, and then your 4 channels. As we look at the back of it, we can see we do have our 4 XLRs, which is great. And then we have our 1 mix out, and then we have our DC in, and we have 2 antennas. But the other thing is, and this is something that really any brand you get is going to do this, the antennas are in the back of the unit. So when you want to install this in your rack, you don't have a whole lot of space behind in the back part of your rack for these antennas to be sticking up. So fortunately, they do give us rack ears. I haven't taken these out yet, but they give us rack ears that you can screw to your front here. And one thing nice about these, and I'll go ahead and take this one out as well so you can see it. Hopefully you can see this, is there's a hole right here, if you can see that this gives you the ability to put your antenna in the front, so you can move these antennas to the front, so when you rack mount the system, they're not in the back. Now, what they do not give you with this unit, which is not a problem because you can buy them anywhere, but you can buy a short coax that goes from your back to the front, and it's just a rack mount antenna system. So you can get those from this one is particularly sold from Amazon, and from Amazon you can get the system to, or you can get the coax cable to go from the back to the front. And these are B&C connectors, so they're standard microphone system connections. They're not the old screw-in style or anything like that. They're just regular B&C connectors. So there's the actual system itself, and what they also give you is the 1/4-inch cable for when you want to mix this and send one signal out. This is an unbalanced signal, so you can send one mixed signal out to your board, and then you can mix it from your volume controls. And they also give you an adapter, so if you need to adapt this down to an eighth inch or a 3.5 millimeter, you have that as well. And they also give you batteries, 2 batteries per microphone, which is pretty nice. And of course, here is your power supply for the unit itself. Now let's take a look at the microphones themselves. All right, the first thing I noticed when I picked up this microphone is its weight. It is very lightweight. It's all plastic housing. This piece is plastic. Everything is plastic on it. The end does not have any. On the other Melonare that I was looking at, that I've done a review for, the very tip of them was a different color, which this one's, I like this one a little bit nicer because the tip's not a color, but the power button are all different colors. So they are paired already with your receiver. So you have a red, and then you have the orange, the green, and the blue. So these are already paired per channel. Now, what I did notice when I was looking through some of the instructions is when I first saw this, I thought, man, we're not going to be able to change our channel. But you actually can, and you have to look at the instructions on that one because it's a little bit difficult to change. Now, if you only need this one unit, I haven't powered it up yet, but I'm certain that all the microphones are already going to be paired. So we'll test that out in a second. But If it's the only system you need, it's probably going to be a very simple plug and play unit. But if you have another system that you're incorporating this into and you need to change some channels, it's a little bit cumbersome to change the channels on these. I read through the instructions. I'm like, man, that seems like a lot to go through to change channels. But I mean, it's not difficult. It just seems like there's a lot of steps. So make sure you read your instructions if you need to change your channel. But it looks like the red is for example like 540 to 550, and then you have multiple channels within that small range. And then the orange would be like 550 to 560, for example. So I'm going off of memory here on what the actual numbers were. That's probably not what the actual numbers are, but that's the way they give you that range. They give you the big range that it will cover. I think it says it right here on it somewhere. It says, it says the frequency range is 530 to 580. So that's like 530 to 540 would be one mic, and then 541 to 550 would be another mic. So that's the way that they do their system, which is no problem with that. But just, you need to know those things whenever you're setting them up, if you have other microphones that you need to mix in along with this. Their warranty, it looks like, I didn't even notice this on the last one, but aims to provide cost-effective systems and a 365-day warranty for all products. If you're not satisfied with the item, please contact us immediately and we will serve you with our sincerity. So then they have their email support is support at whitesandmic.com. That's like whitesandmic.com. So that's their support. So so far, I mean, the company looks pretty good, I think, so far. All right, back to looking at our microphones. They are really lightweight. I haven't put the batteries in here yet, but there is a piece right here on the front that this is the way you would set your channel. So when you have to go and set your channel, you would use this. That's what this button would be for. Look in your instructions for that, because like I was saying a moment ago, it's a little bit too much for me to go through on a review video. This is not an instructional video, it's just a review. So make sure you read your instructions on how you would want to reset or adjust your frequencies. All right, so let's go ahead and put some batteries in. All right, so I'm putting the batteries in the first mic. Let's see how these, some microphones, it is very difficult to get the batteries in and out of, where once again, the last ones I looked at, their batteries were really easy to get their mics were really easy to get their batteries in and out. This one is the same way. There's no problem at all getting the batteries out of there. Actually, let me back up. I think one of the other brands I was looking at was very easy getting the batteries out. Melonare on their other microphones were a little bit more difficult to get the batteries out, but this one seems to be just fine. So it looks like the unit, just with power on it, its light is already on. All right, so it's a push and hold to turn it on. If you just push it one time, it does not come on. So, and then it turns blue to let you know that it's on. So that's cool. All right, so what I've done is, instead of plugging in 4 different XLRs, I'm just going to go through and just unplug it each time, just so it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to start with the red, which red is channel number 1, and I've got it turned on. And right now I'm using a, let me turn this off so you don't hear both of them. Right now I'm using a SM58, just a Shure 58 mic, so that you can hear what this mic sounds like. I'm not going to have any audio. I'm not going to edit any of the audio or enhance any of the audio at all. I'm not going to process any of it. And I'll do the same thing for this. So you can hear a good bass line, just because this is a mic that many singers use on stage. So it'll give you a good bass line for that. So let's go ahead and turn the mic on and we'll see what this sounds like. All right, so this is the Melonare microphone. We are on channel 560.5, and it's already paired. Looks like my light is going to stay on all the time. All right, am I on right now? Can you hear me? All right, so it looks like we're muted. When your mic mutes, it's flashing. So that's a nice function that you know your microphone is on mute when it flashes. Then you push it one more time and it's back on and it's on. So let's just do a real fast test here. I have this set at 50%. So I'm going to turn it all the way down just so you can hear if it's how it does. So we're going down, coming back up, back up, back up. Okay, I'm back where I was. I'm going to go ahead and turn it all the way up. You might get a little bit of crazy noise happening here. It might clip. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're almost all the way up, all the way up. That's high as it'll go. And then now we're back down. So it's a very smooth action. There's no like notching in or anything like that. It's very smooth. And the mic feels, I mean, it is very light. It's super lightweight. It doesn't really feel like there's a lot there when you're holding on to it. But it feels good in my hand. It doesn't, where I can grab a hold of it, I don't think I'm going to mute this mic that easily. And I also want to check really quickly with just handling noise. So if I'm just handling this mic, can you hear my rings? Can you hear fingernails? If I'm clapping with it and I'm hitting the mic, can you hear that? So what kind of mic noise does this thing have? And for the price range of this, we're looking at, I think it was like $199. So you're not going to get that same type of insulating quality out of a microphone system that's that price, because you can go very high dollar microphones, and that's when you really start to get into your sound isolating when you're handling noise. But a lot of your less expensive microphones, they don't have that insulation factor built into them. So if you have this on a mic stand, you're not going to have an issue with mic noise. But if you have someone who's handling it, and especially if they like to clap or if they move their hands back and forth or whatever, you'll get some mic noise there. So, all right, let's go ahead and move to another microphone real fast. All right, it's microphone B. It actually says B12 on it. So another thing that I notice here is whatever microphone is on, it shows if it's on or off. So channel A is off, channel B is the only one that's on, 565.5. So that's nice for your technician if you are trying to look and see who's got what microphone on or whatever. You can see what they have right there. Of course, most of the time, if you're a good tech, you're going to see the bar moving on your board. But if you don't have a board that shows any indication on it, then it's pretty nice to have something else that you can rely on to know like what microphone did they pick up. Because if they're holding the microphone this direction, you don't know what mic they have. But if they turn it around to where you can see everything, you can see that it's an orange marker on it, or the red marker, or whichever one you have. But if you're 80 feet, 100 feet back in a sound booth, you may not be able to see this small color, which is okay. And a lot of people, they'll turn them around this direction, so when they tip the mic up, they can see what is going on with their microphone. So that's pretty nice to where you can actually see, the tech can see what channel you're on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the third mic and make sure, because I like to go through every mic and see do they work right out of the package, because I've had some to where, not that I was reviewing, but we've purchased some microphones, and this one is not a purchase. It's not a paid review. This is just, they did send me this unit to review it, so it's not paid, but they did send this to me. And so some microphones that I've got in the past, you plug in the system and nothing worked. There was something wrong right out of the box. So I like to go through and just do a full test of all of them to make sure that right out of the box, is it going to work properly? So that's what we're doing. All right, channel C, we're at 570.5. And how's this sound? Everything sounding okay? Can you hear me okay? I think you probably can. So this one works right out of the box as well. So we're good there. Let me go ahead and switch to the next one. All right, we're on D32. So this is our fourth microphone. Everything seems to be working pretty good. This is at 575.5, and it's showing everything right there on the head of the unit. Overall, I think this is seems to be a pretty decent system for the money. For $200, I think this thing is well worth that kind of price. If you are on a budget and you're needing some wireless microphones on a budget, I think you would be fine. You'd be in good shape to purchase from Melonare. I do not know what type of longevity they're going to give you. I've never used them before. I've only done the reviews for them. We did use them in our practices, and they sounded fantastic. You couldn't tell that it was any different brand than what we're usually using. And most of our worship team members are using Shure microphones. The Shure 58s is what we use. So we couldn't tell a difference when we had this in practice, and we actually used them in service for a few times. But they do have that 1-year warranty on them, which is great. I didn't notice that on the last one. All right, so I mean, for $200, you can't really beat a system like this. I mean, if you get a good look at Sennheiser, for example, if you go buy a Sennheiser system, you're not going to be able to get one microphone for $200. But the Melonare is actually giving you 4 microphones in the one system for that price. So for their price point, I am impressed. I'm impressed with this system. Their dual system I looked at. There's another video. I'll put a link in the description. It's here. You can see the thumbnail here behind me. But I tested out their dual system, and it sounded fantastic. They actually, their microphones felt a little bit heavier as well. These are a little bit lighter in comparison. But so far, the Melonare system, I'm impressed with the system itself. So I look forward to testing these out with our worship team coming up. So just stay tuned. In just a couple minutes. For me, it's not going to be a couple minutes. It's going to be a few days. But for you, in just a couple minutes, we're going to be testing these out with our worship team and testing them out on site at our church. So stay tuned for that. Let me take a short break from the video to tell you about my new book, A Practical Guide to Leading Worship. In this book, you'll find practical tools and information that will help you in your worship ministry, whether you are just getting started or you're a veteran worship leader. It's just $10 for the ebook and $12 if you want a hard copy. Available on Amazon, or you can pick up a PDF copy on robinjen.com. Also, if you want 15% off of anything in our web store, sign up for our email list and you'll get that 15% off code, and I'll send you an email when I upload new videos. Now, back to the video. Check. Yeah, this one's pretty loud. Shure mic, Melonare mic. Yeah, sounds better to me in my ears. Check. All right. When we get to the bridge, I'm going to change over to this microphone where it gets kind of heavy. So I'm going to be going back and forth just a little bit. So are you zoomed into me right now with the camera? Okay, cool. So right now I'm using a Shure Beta 87. Yeah, and this is the Melonare Quad. I don't remember the number of this one. You see it on the video. So, all right, let's go. And I just want you and nothing else, nothing else will do. And I just want you and nothing else will do. All right, so in conclusion to the Melonare review, after we took it to church and we tested it out during rehearsal, what you just saw there was, at the beginning, we didn't have the microphone set just right. So my intent was to kind of do a demonstration between that Shure Beta 87 microphone in the intensity of my voice, how it sounds, and then the same intensity in the Melonare brand microphone, but the levels weren't set quite just yet, so it's a little bit quieter than what we wanted it to be. in our monitors when we first turned it on. It sounded pretty good. It was loud, but then once we got singing. But I will tell you this: that what our audio guys done, we're using a Behringer X32 board, so they took all of my presets and transferred them from my normal channel to another channel where this microphone was at. So they had the same exact presets, everything was the same. So what you were hearing was the exact difference between the microphones. So this mic was not, well, actually, let me back up. I was going to say it's not quite as loud. They probably gained it down. It's probably a whole lot louder because when they first plugged this system in and started it, it was very loud in everybody's in-ears. They had to gain it down a little bit. So what you're hearing right here is a little bit of adjustments, but later on, coming up, like in just a moment, you'll hear when I switch, once they get everything adjusted and sounding right. Actually, let's just go right to that. Watch this next clip as the intensity level comes down just a little bit. All right, as you could hear right there, I could not hear a difference when listening back to this. Couldn't hear a difference at all in the microphones, in the level, in how they sounded. They sounded pretty good. This was a quick rehearsal. We just kind of, we were kind of going through this anyway. I told the team, like, hey, can we just throw this in here real fast? So you might hear a little bit of, you see, we're just at rehearsal here. And and I believe what our tech's done also is they turned everybody else down so that we made sure that you were hearing this microphone over top of anything else. So if you're like, why can't I hear the other singers? Because we wanted to showcase this particular microphone. So that's why you're not hearing other singers. But one thing that you did not see with this microphone is this is the second microphone that we tested. The first mic we tested did not work, period. It just would not work. And as I got closer to the system, because we had this set up in our sound booth about 80 to 100 feet away, something like that, it just would not work at all. As I got closer, it started to work periodically, and what we found out was we were sharing a channel. There was another microphone that was, we couldn't hear any interference, but it wouldn't connect. So if you have multiple microphones, multiple things going on in your wireless, like we do, you're going to have to search for an open channel. I didn't do that. I just picked up one of them, tried it out, and it would not work. So we went to just another microphone, tested it out, and it worked great. So we had to find a microphone that wasn't in a shared channel. So if these are the only mics that you have in your church, they're more likely they're going to work great for you. But if you're like us and you have a lot of other microphones and a lot of other wireless gear, your in-ears, my guitar system, other things, you may have an issue with that, but there are changeable channels. And then at the very end of the video, what you're going to see, one of our pastors, who's actually he's an associate pastor or care pastor. He's been on the channel before, back when it was Church Talk, but he's one of our bass players. He's back there behind me, and what you're going to see him do here in a moment, it's kind of funny. I wish you could hear it because he said it in his talkback mic, so the microphone didn't pick it up. But he was like, when you're talking, I just want to jump out in front of you, and then you'll see what he does there. He's kind of acting crazy. So I thought I would just leave that in there, but also explain to you guys what you're seeing there to give a little bit of context. But overall, I think this system does a really good job. It is on the lesser expensive side of your microphone, so there are some things that you're not going to get with Melonare. There's some things that I don't think they're concerned with, and they're cutting cost in areas so that they can give, my opinion, so they can give a good quality sound. But overall, I think the Melonare microphones are pretty nice. Both of them that I've reviewed were really nice. So this thing had a great sound quality to it. Didn't have any type of interference issues, with the exception of that, the one that didn't work because it was just being drowned out by another microphone system. Um, but you're going to have that with any microphone system you have that's trying to be on the same frequency. So we can't really say that that's an issue with it. But it worked great for us. We tested it in practice. We did not have it in service. We tested it during rehearsal so you could see a real life scenario with this microphone. And I will be excited to put this into our mobile system and begin to use some of these microphones in a real world scenario. And later on, I will come back and tell you how these things are doing after we've used them for a little while. Are they holding up okay? Those are some things that we won't know yet until we begin to use them and get quite a bit of use out of them. But as of right now, I'm going to give them a 2 thumbs up rating. I think they are, for the price, I think it's an excellent purchase for the price. So, guys, that's my review of the Melonare Quad microphone system. And I will see you guys next time on the Practical Worship Leader. Thanks for watching. I had this thing turned down so much in my ear I couldn't hear it at all, but hopefully it came through on the... Could you guys hear it out there? Okay? This black mic? Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being a part of the test. Check, 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 check. Yeah, I had myself turned down too much in this one where it was so loud that I didn't adjust it back. Yeah. Would have made for good content, huh?